Welcome to our supervision group. The good part to be a coordinator and a way to be closer with the volunteer and its process, to set goals and tasks and follow them in a deeper and closer view to their own process. But before going deeper to the topic, we would like to make a little introduction, and we will also like to hear from you who you are, let's say, to start to get to know each other. And we will ask you to just state your name, your country, and your role in the association or the job that you do. And we will start from our group. I will be the first. I am Manuel from Italy. I work as a youth worker in Esplora Association in Italy. I'm also an ex-volunteer. It's a project, and now what concerns me in the association is the youth area. So prepare the youngster to travel and to start to discover the world around their little towns, let's say. And now I will leave the word to my colleague to present themselves. Who wants to be the first?
I can do it.
Okay.
So my name is Maria. I'm from Italy. And now I'm in Cyprus, Nicosia, to be more specific. I was a volunteer, and now I'm working in Politistic Ergasteri, Ion Morbiton, in Nicosia, Cyprus. And I'm kind of coordinator, let's say, of the volunteers, and also I'm helping the project manager with the application for funding. So it's let's say it's a mix of different tasks. I'm very happy to be here with you, so we can explore this topic together. And I will pass the floor to Magda.
Hello, my name is Magda. I'm from Poland. I work in the Center of Youth Cooperation and Mobility in Gdynia and the north of Poland. We are a coordinating organization. Right now we coordinate 20 volunteers, but we also host 2 volunteers in our office, and we send people abroad. And my responsibility is to manage all the administrative part of the project. So I prepare all kinds of documents, agreements, invitation necessary before the volunteers' arrival, during their stay, and before and after their departure. So now I pass my voice to Lorenzo.
Yes, welcome to everybody. I'm Lorenzo, me too, from Italy. I'm one of the founders of the organization that is called Esplora. We're with Manuel. I'm a colleague of Manuel, and we are hosting right now 3 volunteers, and I am a coordinator of them, the tutor of the project, and I pass the word to everybody who wants to introduce himself.
I can go next.
Please.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Žiga. I'm originally from Slovenia, but living in Germany, working together with Naturkultur since 2018. When Corona wasn't here, which probably a lot of us still remember, I was more or less working on the residential youth exchanges and training courses. And since Corona came, I more or less like kind of transitioned also to mentoring volunteers. I'm kind of, considering myself as being starting with it. Currently mentoring 3 volunteers, and we are coordinating currently 13 volunteers in Bremen and around Bremen. So yeah, that's it from me. Whoever would like to go next, welcome to do so.
I can go. I'm Oana from Romania. I work in Curva de Cultură in the rural area of Romania, and I coordinate activities and volunteers. Yeah, we work with the youth in rural area mostly, doing community building and stuff.
Who wants to be the next?
Hello, everyone. I can go. I'm Blanca from Croatia. I'm from one organization that is called Synchro Synergy Croatia. We are a really small organization, so I'm actually doing a lot of different stuff there. I'm also coordinating the volunteers. At the moment, we have 12 volunteers in our organization for 2 months.
Nice.
And I'm happy to be here.
Aline, you're the last one.
So my name is Ali, and I am one of the 3 volunteers that Lorenzo is hosting on Explora in Italy, and I'm coming from Spain.
Okay, thank you very much to everyone. Before we go deeper to the topic, I will share again the link from the Padlet. So while we have the presentation, you can add comments or whatever you want, feedback, whatever everything is in your mind. I will share it on the chat. Okay. Now you see it, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
I want to add, you can also add your contact if you want to create, let's say, a new network. You can add your contact, email, and so we can maybe do something together. Who knows?
Yeah, in the future, after Corona goes away, who knows? Someone can build something up. Okay, so now we leave the words to Lorenzo, who will start to tell us the
Yes. So basically, welcome again. If you can share the
doing
screen, we start to enter in the detail of this topic. The basic is the supervision, as you probably know. Why supervision? First of all, because it's a bit more, let's say, particular compared to the regular employee. When you are speaking with volunteers, of course, there are many aspects that we have to keep in mind. First, that they are not employee, and second, that they are somehow in a new environment for all the 360 degrees. So under every aspect. So let's start to answer when and why to do supervision. When basically, let's say that is up to you when you want to do it. For sure, as soon as you start, let's say, better is it, and do it regularly, please. If you can, you change the, thank you, and do it regularly. Like can be 1 per month, 1 per week, twice per month, up to you. But we are speaking about the supervision of the task work now. So basically, it's important to do it with some regularly. Why to do it? Mainly, there are 2 reasons for the organization and for the volunteer. For the organization, of course, is very useful to reach the objective, because you can step by step see how is going the process, the mood of the volunteer, how he feel with this task, if he's happy, if he's not, if he's let's say enthusiastic, or if not, you change it. Probably you will adjust the things, because as we says, we cannot let's say oblige them to do the stuff, but we have to smoothly bring them to the result. And of course, it's also useful for the final report, because if you keep the note, what are you doing during the supervision, you know, and you have at the end you have a final notes useful for the final report. Yes, next one is why is important for the volunteer. Of course, because he feel part of the process, because basically giving steps slowly and check them regularly, they understood, let's say, how it's going, so they can understand the whole picture of the job they are doing. Because usually this way of supervising, let's say, helps to feel part of the team, because often we are speaking about not only office job, but often they are part of a team. So making the supervision, they can express themselves if there is some issue or not, how they like, and can be more gratificating the whole project. So next is who. Who is make the supervision? Any idea?
Usually the mentor or the person that they are actually working with, or
Yes.
in combination with both.
Basically, is the supervisor, right? Tricky question.
But if we don't have a person that is a supervisor, then because we name them differently, probably.
Yes, in theory, the mentor is should keep, let's say, the feeling, the atmosphere, the things. Now we are speaking about work task. Mm-hmm. So basically, the tutor or coordinator, up to you how you want to call it. But yes, it was just a joke because the supervision is made by the supervisor, who usually give the task and follow the objective. That the most important thing is that should be supportive anyway, like giving advice, let's say be coaching and coordinator, because as we says, it's important to give them the chance to be part of the staff, let's say, of the organization. And now how to supervise, I will pass the speak to Magda. Thank you. Microsoft, Magda?
I forgot. I'm sorry. Do you hear me now? Yes? Great. So we appointed 5 steps of supervision, which we would like to present you. The first step, generally they overlap, but it's also it's also important to remember that they're not so absolutely random. So the first step are tools. Can you please click? Yes. It's important to provide volunteers so with the tools that they need to do their job. So if they work in the office, they need to have a computer, printer, or whatever office stuff they need. If they work in the garden, they need some garden equipment. If you provide them with some extraordinary tools, it's also important to explain them their function and how to use them. Next step is the training. It's important to train volunteers after they arrive and to present them the mission of your organization, the rules. Also to talk to the volunteer about their fears and expectation connected with the project. And also tell them what are your expectations of them. Also, you should remember that one training is not enough. The first training would be good to present the organization, to present the staff, to tell them who is who, so that they know who are they working with. But some things have to be repeated because we know it from the experience that usually after first training, volunteers remember more or less half of it because they are still in shock and the different background, everything is different. So keep in mind that trainings would have to be repeated. The next step are the tasks. It's important that the volunteers know his responsibility and what his or her task should be. Also, again, remember that they come from different backgrounds, and you both speak different language, so maybe they would not understand what you're saying to them. In order to make sure that they do understand, ask them to repeat. If the task is complicated, it's always good to show them how the task should be performed. If it doesn't have to be shown, make sure they understand what their responsibility is. Maybe also they need some deadline, so tell them the deadline. And what's also important is for them to know who is their direct supervisor, so who is the person in charge of their activities. Another step is, we called it resource, but it's about providing support and involving volunteers in the organization. Which is also something that I already mentioned, that it's important that the volunteers should feel part of the team. So you should introduce them to everybody from your organization, and also involve them in the organization's activities. So I don't know, when you throw a party, or when you have not business, but staff meetings, you could also engage volunteers, even if they are held in your national language. Why not invite the volunteer, make them feel a part of your team, even if they don't understand. It's also a way to learn the language. After all, they might have come here for, let's say, 12 months, so it's important to know the language. Make them also feel important and make their work feel meaningful. Sometimes as a supporter, you enter into different roles, which is something that already Lorenzo mentioned. Sometimes you can be, I don't know, understanding parents, sometimes demanding teacher, sometimes a coach, sometimes you have to be advisor, and sometimes you have to be a friend. And it might happen that you are all those roles in one person. It also depends on, of course, on the needs of the volunteer, on the way the project goes. Maybe there won't be such need to be everything, but also remember to treat the volunteer equally, the way you treat your staff, but not as a worker, because that's not what he or she is. And the last step is evaluation, which is analyzing the volunteers' progress and learning process during their activities. This is also something that should last from the very beginning to the end. And as Lorenzo mentioned, the regularity, the frequency of it depends on the volunteers and on the organization, but it should be held regularly. Sometimes you will have to meet, I don't know, once a week, once a month, or maybe the longer the project lasts, maybe they won't be necessary to meet so often, but it's important to analyze the progress of volunteers and the fact if they really like the tasks, because it might turn out that there is something they don't really like, or maybe they have some other offers, maybe they have some potential that needs to be developed, maybe they want to be more independent. So you should give them the space for their independency. Also, you should praise them if they do their job good. If they don't, you can criticize them, but be sure that you criticize them, that the criticism doesn't kill them, that it's constructive, not destructive. And what is also very important for the volunteer is the feedback, because I think that, well, it's not that I think, but it is the basis for the further development. And of course, keep them motivated all the time, and try to be always fair to your volunteers. And that's it from me. And now I pass my voice to Maria.
Okay, now I would like to introduce a little exercise, since we want to make this workshop a bit more interactive. So it's not just, let's say, a boring lesson. So basically, this exercise will help us to understand the importance of supervision. Also, because as Lorenzo and Magda said before, one of the tasks of the supervisor is to guide the volunteer. So with this exercise, which is a kind of role game, we're going to explore the feeling of the volunteer, or at least trying to explore it. So I would like to kindly ask you to take a pen and a paper, if you have something close by. Tell me when you are ready, so I can give you more instruction. Okay. Okay. When everybody is ready, we can start. I will tell you more. Just thumbs up if you are all in. Okay. Oh, perfect. So I guess everybody's ready. Okay, basically it's very simple. You have to draw the feeling of the volunteer from the beginning of the project until the end. So the whole process, let's say. We are not asking for Picasso or for an artist. We don't want the perfect drawing. We just want to put something on paper, let's say, and then start a discussion about this. So we can also have your feedback, and maybe you have also your experience you want to share, or another vision of supervision. So let's draw. I will give you time. Manuel maybe can also put some music so we can create the mood, and then we can start a nice discussion. Thank you. So now we are going to show this beautiful picture in the screen so everybody can see. You know, like I try to do my best. I don't know if it's that clear. I don't know. Or we can just describe it. Very nice. Very nice. So if you want, I will go with mine because I know what's in there. Basically, I try to, I don't know if it's that clear. I try to draw a circle. You start there with a bunch of questions, but a lot of energy. There should be a battery, I don't know, something. And but a lot of confusion as well. Then you start, but you still have a lot of question mark. Then you meet people there, and you start to get into the process, but sometimes you are, you know, sad, you miss your family, a bit homesick, and still sometimes you're still confused anyway. And then at one moment you feel like a superhero. You feel like, oh yeah, I can do everything in my life. And almost at the end of the project, you feel like you meet new people and you have a new family, or at least a bigger family. And that's the end. Something simple. Okay, now I want somebody else to speak, describe your drawing, and I don't know, any other thoughts that you have. The floor is yours. Who wants to speak? Just go.
Angle. Mine is a little bit different, but I guess that's okay because we are different people. But I imagine the process of a volunteer going through an experience from the beginning. Let's see. Not here, that's the end. So from the beginning, it starts with a lot of expectations. Even before arriving, yeah. And then when the arrival comes, you get met with the reality, and you realize that you are all over the place. But you're trying to figure things out, because this is where the arrows come in. So you're trying to figure out things, and seems like whatever you knew about life, it's not really working out because you're in a completely different environment. And as Magdalena was saying very nicely before, and Lorenzo as well, it's 360. So it's kind of like, it's very difficult for a mentor or anybody else to imagine what you are going through, even yourself. And then after a certain period of time, things start making sense, and you start learning new things and applying actually the things that you're learning, and you start feeling much more comfortable, and your volunteering starts making a lot of sense, and you're making progress, and you're kind of meeting new friends and so on and so forth. And then towards the end, it's not only 3 lines, but it's I have difficulty, but it's 4 or 5 lines, which means that you kind of like in games, you leveled up, and it's kind of known, or that's kind of something that it's realized only when you are kind of going through a reflection and all of these processes, and realizing that actually the year that you have went through, it has really brought you to a place that you have not even imagined through the whole process, because this process is very chaotic sometimes, and part of you wants to do it again before going home. You know, here it might be so turmoilish that you are missing your family, your home, and you want to actually go home. You don't know what the hell you're doing, but at the end, a part of you really wants to go through this experience again, because you see at the end how beneficial it was actually for your own growth and your own learning. So that's my a little bit chaotic, but
oh, very nice, very nice. I have to say it's very nice. Yes, yes. Very, very nice. Yeah, this exercise is just a way to put us in the shoes of the volunteers for a moment. So sometimes, of course, we are working with them. I was one of them, but sometimes it's easy to forget. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go next. So I am a volunteer now, and it's my first volunteering. So this is really guessing how can I be inspired by previous experiences, which were not volunteers, but exchange on the in other countries and things like that. So the first, I made it by steps. So I put one, but these numbers maybe you don't see it. It's more for me to not forget about the things. So this little man is the way you arrive. Everything is surprising. Everything is new. So even though you don't understand the things at the beginning, there's this excitement of the curiosity of being discovering everything. And then little by little, people are showing you, and so the mentors, other explorers, other people who are next to the mentors and people like that, friends of friends, who are teaching you how to understand the country, how to understand the culture, how to understand the job you are making, the activities you are making, the system that is around you, the other people who are around you too. So you start to see and understand the beauty of all of that. So everything becomes like pink. And then after you start to face the first problems. So there's this first confusion of situations that you really need to come up with a new idea, or with a new state of mind, or just rethink about your already conceived ideas and see if they were useful for this, or if they are right or not. So this is an analysis you need to make on yourself, and to make also on the situation. So this time of confusion is another cycle I highlight. And then after, this is like a light. So it's like the idea that comes up to your mind based on this conflict or the situation that you have to face. So a possible solution, I make it super simple, like if it was one problem and one solution, but it can be just a whole situation with a lot of different elements. And then after, you come up with wherever you need to come up, so different alternatives that are appearing. And then after, you go back to your place. And here's a kind of calendar, so which is put 2050, because for me, from my own experience, when I come back home, it's not until years later that I understand fully how until which point did I learn the things. So some lessons I start to understand them when I need to face a new situation, and then remember, okay, I face kind of the same, or I can also apply what I apply at that moment in this situation. But that comes really years later, and not on the plane of coming back home. That was it, bro.
Great, it was great, actually, very nice as well. Somebody else want to share?
I can. Mine is a bit simple, but still. So it's at first so the volunteers is kind of expectant. They're like preparing. They're thinking about what their expectations and their wants for the projects are. Then there's a bit of shock, some confusion, curiosity, as they just arrived. Still, a lot of things are different. Then they have a lot of questions. They're basically trying to get accustomed to everything. They're in the process of, I don't know, rediscovering themselves in this new context. Then there's some excitement as you're in there, you're doing stuff, you're learning new things, meeting new people. You're starting to get more accustomed already, so everything is not that weird anymore. Then you start to question stuff again a bit, maybe like, you know, how everything changed inside of you in this context, what you learned and stuff. And in the end, you're like content about having all the cool experience and learning all the new stuff and processing some of them. And yeah.
Good, very nice as well. Thank you. So we miss somebody else, Blanca? Okay.
I can share my drawings. So I made it really, really simple with emotions and 3 stages, like the beginning, middle phase, and the end. So at the beginning, I based this on my experience with my volunteers that I had so far. At the beginning, all of them are extremely excited, extremely happy to be in a new country, to meet new people, and they have also a lot of questions, like how it's going to be like, will they meet new friends, what they will do, what tasks they will need to do in the new organization. And then in the middle of the project, a lot of them are having fun. They are really happy. A lot of them have a feeling like they're having the time of their lives. Some of them might have some homesickness. And also I put this because, especially when it comes to team volunteering project, this is actually the stage. This is the stage where they might have some arguments between themselves, because now they know each other a bit better and they know how it is to live with a bunch of other people. So they might have some problems between each other. And also I put this emotion because they start feeling sad because it's already half of the project and they have the only half of it. This is actually the thing that we have right now with our volunteers. Like 1 month has passed and now they realized, oh, there is only 1 month left. Yeah. And in the end, they feel kind of happy because of everything. They feel satisfaction and appreciation, but they also feel a little bit sad because everything is over. And also they are having questions, especially if it was a long-term volunteering. So they are having questions, what should they do now with their life, because they made a break, for example, for 1 year of their normal life, and now they need to come back to their countries and to live totally different life. And they have also a lot of questions like, what should they do? Should they, I don't know, find a job or study something or go to other projects? And yeah, that's
good. Thank you so much. I don't know if we are running out of time.
I think so, because we have 2 minutes left. I'm so sorry to give you this news.
Okay. So I will say, okay, we can do we can move to the next step and then do the discussion, because I don't know if we have time actually to do the discussion. Maybe when we come back to the plenary, we can still do it.
We will see if maybe the other groups aren't done yet, so we can still continue. So sorry to cut this feeling now.
Sorry, it was so nice. Sorry.
But it's good. That means that we had the opportunity to talk. And now I will share, I don't know if you know it, the website Mentimeter, to have a little feedback from you. And I will share the link on the chat. And basically, if you don't know it, you have just to open the link and will appear one question that are your feelings at the moment after the workshop. And you have three, you can write 3 words on it, and we will all see it in the screen because I will share it. And if you can't open, let me know that there is also the code that will appear on the top when I will screen. Okay, wait, let me check. Okay, you should receive it now. Okay.
Yes, it's working.
Okay. So if you can't enter here on the top, there is the code that you can put on it. If not, will be automatically open. Okay. Let's put 1-2 minutes for it. Let's hope they don't bring us back.
Even less, I guess.
Oh, wait. Yes. Probably. Let me know when they are all done, so we can see together.
Unfortunately, like a discussion was planned, but well, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to get into the subject so in a deeper way. So that's a pity.
I found it really interesting because putting yourself in the shoes of another person or volunteer in this case, right? It in so many ways bridges the gap, which is usually between possible gap that is usually between mentor or a supervisor and a volunteer, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a relationship that you're building with volunteers, right? And it's yeah, it's
So exactly. Like if you know the volunteer feelings, you can also work better for sure, because you are working also with them and for them.
And in order to know the feelings, you have to create a relationship and build a relationship and keep the relationship from honest relationship as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's
yes, it's very a complete, very complex relationship.
Yeah. So I guess we are on the time. So I take the word to say thank you again for joining us today till now. And now we can go back to the plenary room. Just don't forget, as I said before, to check the Padlet, thank you. I forgot the word for a second. To the Padlet, if you want to add everything or also question or keep in touch with the other, if whatever you need. And thank again for joining us, and see you soon in the other room.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.